I had a job early in college working at a radio station. And I decided to become a radio announcer because in the 3rd grade, I had a screw up. How does a 3rd grade screw up get you into radio? Well, my problem was I had a little speech impediment, and I would mix up PH and TH and F's. And so I'd say, oh, fat, funny thing. And people would laugh at me. And it made me very, very uncomfortable. And I had to go to a therapist, an hour a day at school during the 3rd grade to get over talking that way. But after I did it, I was very, very insecure talking in front of people because I thought I would screw up and they'd laugh at me. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of ever talking to a group was it was overwhelming to me. And so now I was starting college and I wanted to do a lot of things with hydrogen and other things, and I thought, I've got to overcome this fear of getting up in front of people. And someone told me, well, the way you overcome a fear is you just do it. And I thought, well, okay, so how am I going to just do it? Then I got the idea, if I could talk on the radio, that'd fix my fear. So I went and applied for a job at the local radio station. So I'd like to be an announcer. And they said, do you have a demonstration tape? And I said, no. I said, well, make us a tape of you announcing. So I went home and got a little recorder. Hi, this is the radio station, and you're listening to this. And took the tape, and they said, we don't have any openings right now. And that really made me determined. So I was at the university, so I took a class in radio broadcasting, radio and television broadcasting. It wasn't in any of my majors. I took 5 majors, but it wasn't in any of them. It was in broadcasting. And they said, this class is only for people that are majoring in that. And I thought, I can't major in anything else. So I audited the class. They wouldn't let me take it for credit, which means I attended. And I didn't get any credit. But in there, they had a recording studio and microphone and a guy to help me. And so I made a demo tape. And 6 months later, I took it down to the radio station, and they hired me to be an announcer on the weekends. All right? Well, I probably didn't mention that it was the radio station with the lowest ratings in town.
Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't mention that, did I? Well, one night, I was doing the sign-off schedule. We would go off the air at midnight and come on at 6 a.m. And so at the end of the day, someone would have to get on there and say, this completes another broadcast day. We want to thank you for listening to our station, and we'll play the national anthem and be off the air until 6 o'clock in the morning. We'd play the national anthem. Well, I did that lots and lots of times, and I figured at midnight on that station, no one was listening. There's just no one listening. And so one night, I'm so ashamed of this, but one night I just got on and said, this is Kickle Pickle Radio, and this ends our broadcast day. We'll see you tomorrow. Played the national anthem. My owner's wife was listening. And boy, did I hear about it. Well, the funny part was my owner and his wife were the parents of Robert Redford's wife.
Is that your first introduction?
I didn't meet Robert Redford through that experience,
That's
fortunately.
probably good.
But I did meet his mother-in-law. I don't recommend that, by the way. I didn't get fired, but I did apologize and apologize. And a couple months later, the 2 brothers that owned the radio station came to me and said, Roger, you're doing pretty good. We'd like you to be the program manager for this station. And that was a big break for me because I hadn't thought about how many people were listening up till then. But when you're program manager, your job is to get more people to listen. And our station had nowhere to go but up. We were right at the bottom. And one of the reasons that people didn't like to listen to our station is because our records were ancient and they were scratched. And, you know, and there was this old, terrible records. We didn't have, our ratings were so low that the people that made records didn't send us free records. And so I thought the first thing we got to do is get some good music on this station. So I went down to the drugstore, Woolworths, and I went in the manager and I said, how would you like to advertise on the radio? Oh, we don't have any budget for that. You don't need budget. I'll tell you what, we will pay you 10 commercials for every album you give us from your record department. And so I got all the records that way. One of the records I chose was the Carpenters, the Close to You album. I got that. Beautiful music. People are going to love this. Took it back to the station. I'm so excited. I came in the next day and I pulled the record out to play it on my shift. And about half of the Carpenter songs on the Close to You album had been marked through by a wax pen.
Oh, goodness.
By the mother. She'd come and listen to these are too rowdy for our station. The Carpenters. So anyway, there are a lot of fun stories in life.
Yeah.
But you know, we did get that station doing pretty
it.
well, and I learned so much about marketing from doing it. Study hard, study hard, study hard. If it wasn't for that class at the university, I would have never got that job at the radio station. What you learn from these courses that you're taking will come in handy in more ways than you can ever imagine. And for goodness sakes, when you sign off at night, don't say kickle pickle radio. See you next time.